Whenever you want to make a positive change in your life, there are always three factors to overcome. First, you must remove yourself from your comfort zone. Second, there's always some anxiety. And third, your self-esteem is in play. May we discuss these three challenges that we all face as human beings? How you doing today? What's happening good? Eli's dad here with a new chapter for Project Eli, where we educate, lead, and inspire. You're invited to tune in to your favorite radio station, WIIFM, What's in It for Me, as I tutor my number one son. Eli, yesterday was a big day for you. You went to summer camp for 8 weeks. No mom and dad for a while. This being your second year in the wilds of Maine, I know how excited you are. Our final conversation was enlightening for me, and I would like to share some of your thoughts and feelings to make some points about life. Aren't dads always doing that, Eli? They are, aren't they? Now, I couldn't help but remember how different your attitude about leaving for the summer changed from last year to this year. Last year, you were leaving your comfort zone of the home front for the first time. You were anxious about committing to a place you'd never been to before, and you were concerned about whether the other kids would like you. This year, there was a different type of anxiety. You couldn't wait to get there, and your excitement affected your sleeping. That is a great kind of excitement. I've got some good news for you, my son. You'll experience that feeling many times in life when you have the courage to take a positive new step. So, what was your process? Well, first, you visualized living in the countryside with cooler weather, enjoying all of the features, advantages, and benefits of this special place in Maine. I must humbly take some credit for your buy-in as a salesperson that shared my experiences there. I planted the seed, fertilized it, and gave it continuous sunshine. You were not sold. You wanted to buy. Second, you were able to overcome the comfort of familiarity to make a change that you knew would enhance your life. Eli, this is most often the biggest stumbling block of all. For some reason, people choose to attach themselves to the discomfort that they know versus seeking a better result in the unknown. There's comfort in familiarity. Why doesn't an alcoholic or a drug addict, or insert whatever debilitating addiction you want to put here, seek to change when they know that they would be better off doing so? I found that it's a matter of how much you need to move the needle. When the doctor says, stop smoking or stop drinking or you'll die, in most cases that's enough of a catalyst to instigate change. To put it another way, people would rather avoid pain than seek pleasure. Now, to understand human nature is important. It's important to understand your own actions and to understand the motivation and actions of others. Now, third, you had the anxiety of making new friends in an unfamiliar environment. Would the kids at camp, mostly from the Boston area, like a kid from Texas? Good news. You found you had so many things that were bonding that making friends was, that you had so many things in common that were bonding that making friends was easy. You see, bonding is key to beginning any new relationship. You wondered if you could do it. You questioned your self-esteem. That problem appears to be solved. How do I know? Well, when I suggested that the first camp activity would probably be a game called Capture the Flag, your response was, and I quote, "Dad, I'm a beast at Capture the Flag. You should have seen me playing it last year." I'd say that you overcame your self-esteem issues, my friend. Now, at Project Eli, excuse me, we're all about creating blueprints, how-tos. In going through my journal, I came upon the following explanation. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the source. So to the original author, I say, I'm sorry, and thank you for sharing it. Here is the prose from my anonymous, wise source. Recently, a friend of mine made a pretty significant career move, leaving a place known well for a long time for a new, completely different work environment. During a conversation, I asked how the transition was going, having walked that particular road myself. The response was what you might expect from an experienced professional in a brand new place. It's good. I'm trying to swim fast without knowing how deep the water is. Again, a very common sentiment, but it got me thinking. Here's the thing about swimming. It's the same principle regardless of the depth of the water. So number one, relax. Trust the natural buoyancy of the human body to float. Number two, keep your head above water. Not even all the time, just enough of the time to breathe. And number three, propel yourself forward with your arms and or your legs. Elegance isn't required. What makes the notion of swimming in new waters of unknown depth a daunting prospect is fear. Fear of what will happen if you suddenly fail at swimming. Because at the end of it all, being able to touch the bottom or not only becomes relevant if you find yourself failing at any of the above three steps. If you know how to swim, the distance between your toes and the bottom ceases to be relevant. It's no different than walking a tightrope. The basic mechanics of focus and balance are no more difficult at 1 foot above the ground as at 100 feet. The difference is in the psychology of handling the elevated costs of failure. Now, as you move into the deep end of a new area of challenge, whether it's a new project, a new role, or a new career entirely, understand the basic fundamentals that helped you swim like a dolphin and trust them. If you have the self-awareness to know what you know and what you don't, the humility to acknowledge these things openly, and the appetite to learn both rapidly and deeply, then you'll do fine in your new, deeper waters. You might make a bunch of noise splashing around, and nobody will mistake your form for the natural grace and efficiency of Olympic gold winner Katie Ledecky at first, but you won't drown. So, forget the bottom, ignore the fear, and just swim. Eli, I'm proud to say that you followed this path and just swam. Have a great time at camp in Maine. Our next session will combine two of my favorite topics, Abraham Lincoln and leadership. There's much to learn from our greatest leader as president. Present company accepted. Excuse me, a little tickle in my throat. As always, I seek your feedback. Tell me about an experience you had where you had to overcome a new situation to make needed changes in your life in the comment section below. For those of you yet to subscribe, please click on the red subscribe icon and click the notification bell too. Our thought for the day is from our longest serving president, Franklin Roosevelt. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And because we never end a meeting on a philosophical note, fear not, get out there and charge. I'm Eli's dad.